Hello, magic enthusiast. This is Draco, and today we have another really fun Modern League where Mono Blue Merfolk will do a lot of fun games, and I'm excited by going through all the games with you today. We got some crazy matchups again. This time around we met Burn, we met Murktide, we even met the Grixis Shadow. So some of the really, strong big meta decks we're gonna fight today. We also get to meet Charbelcher, this crazy combo deck that we really need to be able to put off the ground. So interesting game as well. And then we get some spice again, new crazy deck, Garuda, the companion. Look forward to that one. Really interesting deck, and we're gonna see if we can get a good record against all these decks here. Before we go into the action, I want to just have a little interesting topic today because I really enjoy old school Magic cards, and actually I wanted to just introduce to you guys that I have here my old border cube. You can see it's a 575 card cube. Just want to show you guys what I've been working on for some time here. Just a couple of preview cards. Of course, we got to run with the Moxen, right? Have the Moxen there. We have here Yusam Jin, and this unlimited Serra Angel, and this one is totally nice. Authentic, real Serra Angel from Unlimited. We also have another, other crazy old nice cards like Old Man of the Sea, the original Gangbanger here. He was real crazy. We got Lightning Bolt. We got Elves of the Deep Shadow. Really nice original from the dark, and a little bit of nice piece of spice here I want to show you guys as well. This is a real beta clone, old border cube. I know some can say, but Draco clone, is that really a good enough card? It's awesome card, man. 4 mana copy Shivan Dragon, let's go. So just want to show you this little piece of box set we got here, and I love to play with the old cards. Let me know if showing a couple of cards from my cube sometimes would be fun to you, or maybe even have an entire episode just dedicated to Nostalgia Cube. Everything is old border, a lot of cards from Tempest, Invasion, stuff like that. We got all the interesting cards that has been printed only on old border. And we also do have some of the reprints. So I run also Ignoble Hierarch, which is not a reprint, but printed on old border. That's also allowed. So fun cube I have here. But let's talk about the action, and let's talk about the games we're gonna go through today. And we can see here the deck we have been running today here. We are running a list with 8 lords, 4 tricksters, 4 adepts. We got the 4 vials, 4 tide shapers, only 2 spreading seas. We got a split of 3 subtleties, 3 force negations. We got, of course, our Svealoon up and running. We got a couple of his members in the main deck. The sideboard, tinkering a bit around here right now. Here today we're gonna run a couple of Flusterstorms, and a little bit of things we can change around. A couple of Brazen Borrowers, 1 subtlety, 1 Graph Digger's Cage, 1 Harbinger, 3 Relic of Progenitus. So let's see how the game's gonna go. And of course, as always, if you like what I do here, feel free, and remember that you are absolutely okay to like the video and subscribe to my channel. Also, you can follow me on Twitch and watch my stream live if you catch me there. And we are up against Garuda, Doom of Depth. I have no idea what's going on. This is absolutely nuts. Okay, so Garuda means that your starting deck contains only cards with even mana values. Fine enough. And when Garuda enters the battlefield, each player mills 4 cards, and then the player who playing Garuda will get to put a creature card with an even mana value from the mill cards into play on their side. So, and he plays out a Snow-Covered Swamp. We have a decent hand. We can just play out here. And he plays, is this Heartless Summoning? Interesting card. It means that his Garuda is cheaper to play, and I think this is the kind of thing we need to get off the ground. We got a Force Negation up, because this is just going to ramp him into a fast Garuda. And I gotta say, I'm still really not sure what's going on, but I think that the Garuda is potentially going to be dangerous. I think that might be correct. So we'll just start by forcing this, pitching the subtlety. Maybe this is also, in retrospect, incorrect. But I think right now we can raise Garuda. Maybe the subtlety would have been great against Garuda. But right now, let's just start by going all in here. He got chosen demon, so he plays Cavern to protect his Garuda. That's pretty cool. I think it's a pretty cool deck here. Oh. So not quite sure what's going on, but I think we should still just beat in and try to get as much power on the board as possible. The master will also be great next turn. And we want to get the Vial down. So let's see what we can do here. Show the touch ever. Pretty nice. Draw another fortification. And he plays Talisman of Dominance. Okay, so it seems like he's just want to ramp into his Garuda. Again, a potential of, force this, because this gives him, haven't played a land yet, so this means that he'll be able to play this card faster. Talisman of Dominance is a nice little mana rock. We let it resolve, because he can't be able to play it next turn anyways. And then he plays Mindstone. This is exactly where we need to be aware. But I'm still thinking here at this moment, I don't really know what's going on. Maybe Garuda is not that dangerous, and he needs to get it in hand as well. Garuda is dangerous. That's the little piece of advice I would like to give to you. Don't let them resolve it. He puts it into his hand. Fine enough. A Garuda and a couple of threats. What does that mean? Doesn't really matter. So let's just play down Sphere Loon and attack in. We got the Dismember for some threats he can play. We got a Force Negation for whatever he's gonna play. And we don't exactly know what's going on here. We have no idea. And now he can play Garuda. Garuda. This is where the subtlety would have been great, by the way. But he plays down Garuda. And he finds, what is that? Spark double? Copying Garuda? Oh no, he can do it again. And another clone effect. You can see what I mean? Just use clone. He's just cloning his things. Just like back in the old days. If you ever in doubt that clone is great, look at him. He's just cloning away, cloning all these creatures. Continues putting new things in play. Look at that. The Restoration Angel can even blink the Garuda. He does it again and again and again. Doesn't matter though. I think we almost lethal next turn, right? Let's say we can double lord or anything like that. Crazy. Oh, but he got the Dragon Lord. That means that each creature he have is hasted up. So that's a really nice combo. So like Garuda just goes off, and then they'll make infinite creatures come in, and all will get haste. So he can just kill us off. So we need that not to happen. He used the Grave, so let's get the Gravedigger's Cage and the Relics in. Counter spells, yeah, we can counter Garuda, that's pretty good. We can get Salty in, that's also good. Force Negation seems slow. Dismember is off the table. Spreading Seas, I don't think we can mana deny him. Yeah, seems good. Seems good. The problem I really didn't figure at this point is that actually I was just like, well, Relic is great because when he plays Garuda, we'll be able to crack the Relic to remove his graveyard. That is not how that interaction works, and we found out the hard way. Just to give a spoiler. So Garuda, great beast. Not good is actually doing good. So I think he should change his name to doing good. Doing well. Double gemstone caverns. This seems crazy. Why would he do that? Okay, we got a relic. Again, excited about the relic, but it actually doesn't really work against Garuda. The problem is that when you play Garuda and the thing happens simultaneously, the 4 cards goes in the grade and you can put it in, so you can't really crack the relic in response. This is unfortunate. Let's just get down a master here. There's no need to hold up Trickster. We just want to have pressure on board, and he's stuck on lands here, so we can just start by fueling down our lords. What hand has not good been holding here? Not a good hand, that's for sure. Only gemstone caverns. Garuda. Okay, we get a Vial on 1 here. He gets a Snow-Covered Plains and a Cavern of Souls. Okay, and Talisman. So this is shaping out to be a fast clock from him. We can get a Vial in. We can play down this one. And we need to take him off Cavern in the case we draw a counterspell. Then we have the main armor, and then we can counter his demon here. So I think that's nice to do that. But he has Collective Brutality, where he can kill off the Tide Ship. Nothing we can do about that. Decent play. And another Heartless Summoning. So actually he can resolve Garuda really soon. Not that nice here. So in my mind I was like, and then I need to get the relic down because I need to be able to crack it. If he can play Garuda next turn, he can. Or maybe he even can. But I just think in my head I need to get it down to start having that up and running. But it's futile, so here we should better be playing the Svaelun. Wouldn't really matter, we don't have the correct answer here. I think the right answers against Garuda is Counter Magic, and of course Subtlety is great against Garuda. We don't have it here. So we just want to hold up Relic at this point. I think the right way could you just to play down the Tide Shepherd just to get pressure on board. Don't think you need it to hold up Relic at this point also because I know now it doesn't work. This is the first time I've been playing against Garuda. It's a pretty crazy card. And some of these cards like Heartless Summoning, haven't played against them since Limited. It means that creatures you control yourself gets -1/-1. That is actually absolutely meaningless, of course, for him. His creatures are so big anyways. And now comes Garuda, and we can't really do anything about this. It can't even be countered if we had a counter. But maybe we should actually crack the Waterlock Grove here. Because now we are actually seeing, oh my, we can't crack Relic in response to this effect. That's not good. So we should be cracking the Waterlock Grove for a Subtlety, but I think I'm still hoping here for a Subtlety. Oh, it's not a Subtlety. So nothing we can do at this moment. Garuda comes down, and he can resolve the combo. Look at that. Look at all the clones. He's cloning. He's using clone. These two guys. Look at each other. But actually, he only gets in 2. That's pretty interesting. But he got a Subtlety from our deck, and we can put down Svaelun in end step. Still, it's gonna be a problem. This we can of course Trickster next turn. His creatures are a bit smaller from the Heartless Summoning, so that's at least something. I'm just considering here we should maybe Trickster one of these creatures, but the problem is that he can bounce into Sakashima and replay his creature, and I think he can even do that next turn if he has one. No, yeah, he needs to have more mana than that, but we'll just put down Svaelun, or put down Master. We can realize again. And he plays down Spark Double. Another clone effect. Now copying Garuda, and now it goes off again, and now he actually goes off. Look at this. Look at all these monsters, legendary creatures. Back in my time, such a monster than as he would have Island Home, so it really old weird mechanic that allowed you couldn't attack. There's nothing we can do here. We are just totally screwed. We go down to 5, and our board is gone. So well done by Not Good. We are down in the first game. Garuda, we should have been more focused on I think in that specific matchup, if you ever run into Garuda, I think that might be my first and only time. Pretty niche deck, but pretty cool. Nice to see the tech. A bit of spice here. I think we should have used, a hard mulligan for a subtlety, because his entire deck is built on resolving a fast Garuda, right? Okay, round 2, Rancido. This hand is good. We do have the Glasspool Mimic on the play, and then we can turn 2 Adept. That's absolutely fine. I'm not in the mode of tide tripping turn 1. And we see a Goblin Guide. Okay, so this is burn. And sparing advantage into Goblin Guide. Hopefully, when Goblin Guide attacks, it'll reveal the top of our deck. Hopefully, we can get a land, because if it's a land, we draw it. So he attacks in here. It was a Svealoon, so not a land. A Svealoon stays on top. Okay, now what can we do here? I think there's different lines. You can Trickster, tap down the Goblin Guide just to avoid getting damaged. You can also just play down Adept. It's a really good blocker, and if he uses removal on Adept, that's absolutely fine for us. That means that he doesn't use removal on us, or his burn spells to damage us instead. Normally the game plan for burn is just to put all removal spells, or all burn spells, lightning bolts, lightning helix, searing blaze, pointed at me, so he'll kill us down. And Goblin Guide into Monster's Whisper. This is important now to do something about. I think Monster's Whisper is something that we need to put off here. Goblin Guide will give us a bit of value, and we can trade it with Adept, but I don't like Monster's Whisper coming in. It's a dangerous card, so we solid it. He puts it on the bottom of his library. It's fine. He goes in, we get a land, nice, and we trade one of them away. He's on 4 cards, and he just passes here. Let's get Svealoon down. Again, same thing here. He can kill it, but he needs to use typically 2 removal spells on it, and if he does, well, those burn spells are not going to my head instead. He just chooses to exile double Rift Bolt, which means that he'll be able to deal us 6 damage next turn from the Rift Bolts. And we can start deploying our board here. We can get down a Lord, and we can get down a Tide Shaper, so it's a 3/3 Tide Shaper, really nice, and get him off white. We might as well do that. It's only temporarily, but then we can attack it with Svealoon. I think it's actually pretty nice against burn decks to try to also be proactive and pushing damage on them. If you just sit back and wait, sometimes it'll just be their game we're playing. If we can put some pressure back on them, sometimes they need to stay back and block and do, annoying thing for them. Okay, so he Rift Bolts us, put us down to 10. We have 2 annoying blockers for him. He'll skewer the critics, we go down to 7. And he can skewer again down to 4. Now it's getting dangerous, because Board's Charm is exactly 4 damage. So we are potentially dead next turn, and he's on 15. But he does have an island, so we are unblockable. Let's see, what can we do here? He's on 15. And let's do the math here. Mimic, what a great draw. Mimic allows us to copy the Lord. This means that we have double Lords out, and we can attack with our team, and we can also attack with the Mutavault. So the title would be 4 damage, plus 3 from Lord, that's 7, plus 4 from Mutavault, that's 11, and then 4 for Svealoon, or 5 for Svealoon, that's actually 16 points of damage. So that is absolutely perfect. That actually means that it's lethal. So we gotta, of course, have the right Mutavault here. And now we can put in for 16 points of damage. Out of nowhere it comes, right? That's one of the powers of the Mono Blue Merfolk. We can just immediately kill him from 15 points of damage, and he might have had the win next turn. So really nice to see. And we're gonna get out with the Dismembers. Yeah, it's great to kill a Goblin Guide, but taking 4 damage is playing into his game plan. So I think Dismembers is really bad in this matchup. And if we had Dismembers once here, we would have been dead. We take out some of the Spreading Seas. Those are not good. We get in Flusterstorm. I think countering a burn spell can be crucial. They typically run out of steam at some point, and if you can counter a crucial burn spell, that would be really nice. So first hand here is not interesting. It's really slow. It's on the draw, and in here we would be so far behind fast. because we'll just play down a Mimic and then an Island before we do anything. And then we have multiple Lords. But it might be the correct keep anyways, to see that we can go off with the Lords. The Mimic means that we can play an Island. We have double Islands, but I think it's really slow against burn. But we choose to keep it here. I think that could go both ways. We do have a turn 2 Trickster. But he actually he's mulliganing down to 5 cards here. Not sad to see it. And he immediately level spikes here. Considering should we force this? I don't think we should do that yet. Especially when he's down on 5 cards. The level spike seems really bad. We can get down the shore here. And then we drew an island. And that was of course the consideration. Since we draw the island and we don't really need triple. But I think still it's better to do it. Okay, Eidolon is one of his best cards against us. Because Eidolon means that whenever a player casts a spell with mana value of 3 or less, it deals, I think it's 3 damage to the controller. And that's actually hugely important against us, which means that we can't really just play the adept down, it'll just start burning us. So instead we try to ambush Eidolon here with the Trickster. And we successfully do. He attacks in and we can Trickster down and block it. I think it's so important to get the Eidolon off the ground as fast as possible. It's only, I think it's only 2 damage, but it's still really relevant that just sums up really fast. Nice draw. The either Vial means that we can play down the Lord. Remember, don't put your island down yet because you might draw Muda Vault, which would be a nice play as well. But Adept and Vial, then we're up and running now. He uses Searing Blaze. This is the time to actually use Force, because this is somewhat of a 2-for-1. Because he'll also both kill the Adept and us with Searing Blaze. Yeah, Frostdom, perfect. We can even hold up blue mana, which is why it was nice that we actually played down the Glasspool Shore when we had the chance in round 1. And now we can beat in for 3. He'd go down to 13. Rencido, it's up to you, sir. What can you do? What can you do? And he can Searing Blaze again on the Lord. And look at how Flusterstorm works here. Nice tech to be able to do that. Of course, Spell Pierce would have done the same. But it was still really nice to see. And we are 1-1 in the league. Really great. Really nice. I'm glad to see it. And let's get into the 3rd round here. And we are back for round 3. 1-1 in the league. Let's see if we can do much better here. We managed to bounce back. And before we go into this one, I want to show you one more of the old cards here. Let's get this on the line here. We're looking at the hand later. So because we have this one, it's really nice, really nice. This is the original Living Death. We talked about Living End last time. This is the Living Death here. Look at this magic card. This is a nice one. But let's get into the action. This hand, how is it looking? This is decent. We got either Vial. We got early pressure from the Masters, and it seems like we're up against another Dragon Rage Challenger. We're seeing a pattern here. Let's get down the Vial on 1. Better getting the Dragon Rage Challenger, and it looks like it's Murktide. Playing down the island here, and he's attacking in. We take up the Vial. Let's get it up to 1 here. They have islands, so we can do our classical Tide Shaper block play. That's pretty decent. But if we could also just play out the Master. But notice here, 2 untapped manas, and I think that in which situations can they not play anything with these specific 2 mana up? These Murktide decks, they have all the all sorts of things running. So I think this looks like it's counterspell. Let's not run into a counterspell here. Let's instead try to be smart, and we get one of the Glasspool Mimics out instead. And he plays his Expressive Iteration in his next turn here. So now he can't sit and hold up counterspell anymore. And he goes in for the attack. And we can do the ambush still. This is why Vial is great against control decks and Murktide. Murktide, I think they're running like 6-7 main deck counter magic spells. So no need to get him anything for free here. He does have the Unholy Heat on the Tide here. That doesn't really matter. That's absolutely fine. This means he's tapped out and we can do a double Lord play next time. Next turn. We get the Vial up and running. And we gotta get the Glasspool Mimic value out when we can. So putting down 2 3/3s here is pretty nifty. Next turn we can even play Lord and Vial in a Lord and attack with Mutavault. So it could be overwhelming him here with Masters. He plays down another Dragon Race Channel. And yeah, they're 3/3s, but now we are racing him pretty handily. I don't really care about the Dragon Race Channelers being 3/3 flyers at this moment. No need to tick the Vial up here. Yeah, Island. So we can run into the counterspell here. Maybe that's correct. But I think it's better just to be absolutely sure and try to just draw another card. Okay, let's just activate the Mutavault. I really like Mutavault. I think you guys know that. But every time I attack with the Mutavault, I feel like I'm getting a free spell out of my this, for example, if he wasn't able to... Oh, notice here, he bolts the Master and I can actually Trickster Vial in the Master, nullifying his Lightning Bolt. This is a great situation for either Vial being a buff spell. He's getting totally outplayed here. And we're getting in for loads of damage. Loads of damage. This is a concession. And I need to take a screenshot because this is worth it. Let's get that one down. So attacking in with the 4/4 Mutavault, the 2 3/3 Masters. And of course, this guy's going to take out one of the Masters with the Lightning Bolt. But we could just Vial in an instant speed. That's why you never want to do it pre-combat if you have a Vial. Make them use something like this first. So great stuff. And he is pretty dead to rights here against our triple Lord. But what I'm saying here, the Mutavault suddenly just hit for 5 damage. So I like in an aggressive deck to pay 2 mana to give my opponent 4 or 5 points of damage. That's absolutely nice. I think if Burn had the same opportunity, they would be happy. What can you do here? Nothing. Okay, against Murktide, we get in the subtleties, we get in all the bounce spells. Double Brazen Borrow, Harbinger is nice. We of course take out the relics. They are good against both Murktide and Dragon Race Challenger. Svealoon, I think it's fine to cut 1 Svealoon and 1 Master. Against Ragavan, we want to cut the Master instead of the Lord of Atlantis, since playing the Lord will buff our team. And the Force Negations, they go out as well. They are not as hot in this matchup, because their spells is typically 1 or 2 mana spells, and you don't want to get too far behind on value. One of the considerations could be to use Flusterstorm in these matchups. If Flusterstorm, being a 1 mana counterspell for many of their things, if that's good enough. I'm quite unsure about that. I don't think it is, but it could be in consideration. Okay, we have a more reactive hand here than the previous one, but we do have the Relic. The Tideshaver is an early pressure, and the Subtleties is potentially good, but the Subtleties is much better later in the game when he finally resolves. So I think we need to mulligan this. This hand is pretty decent on the draw. I wouldn't like to keep it on the play, but on the draw it's fine, because we have 2 chances of drawing the land for the Adept. And he has another Dragon Race Challenger starting hand, which is fine. I can't complain. Mistress Bauble. Mistress Bauble is a great magic card. Tons of value, but that means we can get our Relic up and going right away and keeping him down from Delirium. I love being able to play a Relic on 1 against these types of decks. Such a strong effect. And again, it looks like he has Counterspell, but we can't really sit around and do nothing. But we drew the Mimic, which makes us wanting to do that anyways. I think it's actually better in this case to get the Mimic Shore down instead of taking damage from Warlock Grove. So we have the luxury of playing around his counterspell again. They have 4 many counterspells, and I don't know if he sides it out, but drawing the Mimic will actually I think then it's fine. So he comes in, but again, the Dragon Chandler is just it gives him value, but we can't really do much about that. But it's not going to be a 3/3 flat, since we have the Relic. So we find being a bit more proactive and slow here. And now we have a chance of double spelling, which means that we can play around Mystical Dispute. So let's get the Mutavault down, because we don't want to take damage from Warlock Growth. So let's start by playing down the Adept and showing Tidechipper. Now you can Mystical Dispute, but if you do, I'll still be able to put down Tidechipper as a 2-2 that can block really profitably. And here we got the Mystical Dispute. This is fine. And now we still get to play the Tidechipper, so that's why that's a much better sequence, being able to play 2 spells in that turn. And next turn we'll be able to play a Lord and attack with Mutavault. Let's see what he does here. Magus of the Moon. This is actually an interesting play. Interesting that they're running Magus instead of and now, yeah, and it only hits the Tidechipper instead of the enchantment that does the same. Blood Moon, who comes in for 1. But Magus of the Moon means the Mutavault plays out of the way, and we don't even have the option of playing the Master. But we do draw the Tidechipper, and that's interesting because the Tidechipper will make one of can create. The Tidechipper can make one of our other lands into an island, which is interesting. We can't double spell this turn anyways, and he has 2 islands already, because all non-basic lands are mountains, but the snow covered, they still count as basics, so he still have 2 islands and 2 mountains. But we have the option of turning our Mutavault into a mountain instead, but we choose to try to deny him from red nonetheless. But I think doing the other play would have been interesting as well. The problem with that play is that you cannot double spell anyways. We could have turned the Glasspool Shore into an island, but keeping him potentially off red could also be pretty good. That's a consideration. Both plays could be relevant. Maybe it would be better for next turn to do that, but let's see what happens here. So he puts down Engineered for 1. Yeah. That's a decent play. It's both the Tidechipper and also the Relic. He can take out of play when he cracks the Engineered Explosives. And this is just a great card against us in general. And I think he chooses to do it right away here. No, it's a dashed Ragavan. Okay. Does he come in? And I think this is an interesting play. He showcased first that his Engineered Explosives can kill off the Tidechipper. And the Relic, and then he chooses to attack in with the Ragavan. I think I would have attacked with Ragavan first, if I were him. Great draw. We draw the island, which means that we can suddenly start playing some of our spells, and I think we should. The Engineered Explosives doesn't take out the effect here, and even though it could be tempting at this moment to crack Relic, we choose to wait here. Maybe it would be better to do so, as difficult to say. And you have the Lightning Bolt on the Lord of Atlantis here. Good play by the Borjas Maker. I think it's some kind of animated kitten. And now he dashes the Ragavan again. And he hits the Brazen Borrower. This is pretty nice. Be able to bounce something, but he can only bounce the Relic, and the Relic he does. What does he bounce here? Bounce the Relic. And actually, we could crack the Relic in response. I think that would have been a better play. Because then the Brazen Bar would have fizzled. I think that would have been a better play. But here it's decent. We draw the Adept, and we'll be able to start getting the value from the Relic up and running again. And now we have a good blocker on the Magus of the Moon. But of course we want to have the Relic in play, so he is considering Engineered Explosion. I will kill off the Dragon Race Channeler, and the Dragon Race Channeler doesn't have anything yet. The Fury is a beating here, or at least it's good. It's a 3/3 double striker. Takes out the Adept, and now he can hit in for 3. We're going down to 9. It's starting to look good for him. And I think it's closing in on the time where we should be considering cracking the Relic, but we still have some game here. And he has only 1 card in hand, so I think the Svelun could be a decent play. Good old Vial. She can block the Fury profitably. They will just trade, which is of course not insane. But it's decent against a 3/3 double striker, and it'll also mean that next turn he won't be able to really attack that functional with either Dragon Rage Channeler or Magus of the Moon. So decent to play her down here. He does have a Consider. What does he do? Put Steam Vents into his graveyard. Interesting. Interesting. He's considering his options. What should he do here? What does he do? He plays down. No, he activates Exchange Explosives, but we still have the option of exiling all the graveyards, which is nice. So the relic is turning out valuable here. It does take out the Ether Vial, but we needed to get that one down anyways. And now we can take him with Fury, and we can take 6 points of damage here. But he's down to 2 cards in hand and a Magus of the Moon in play. But we don't have that much either. And he does have Brazen Borrower in the exile zone, so... Ooh, Subtlety is interesting. Subtlety is interesting. Now we have something we can do. Of course, the normal play would just be down the Master, but Subtletying could be a good play. Imagine you Subtletying the Brazen Borrower, putting it back on top. Then we would have that... That would be pretty decent. But another thing we could do is that we can play the Subtlety and block the Magus of the Moon as a surprise. But he does have Mountain, so he could potentially just kill it off. But he did have the Unholy Heat, and that was actually pretty bad for us. Good play by Borgermarker, and now we can dash in Ragavan. So here we were a bit punished for not going on the Subtlety route. That would have been an insane line to do here. And he does hit the Subtlety, and I don't think we can come back from this. Here we should have went for the Subtlety line. We could have surprised blocked the Magus of the Moon, enabling all our creatures. Or we could have taken out the Ragavan. So that would have been much better. Now we're just pretty boned here. The Dismember is not good in this moment. We'll go down to 1. So we just hope that he won't do anything crazy, and we can play the Subtlety, trading with his Subtlety, going down to 3. No, we can block. We can actually play Subtlety, block the Magus, and kill off the Subtlety, going down to 1. But he does have the dash. Luckily for us, we can of course use Subtlety on the dash Ragavan. And what did he do with it? On top, pretty good, and he can Lightning Bolt, and that's it. Well done, well played by Borgermarker. So let's sideboard. I don't think there's anything we need to do. And of course, as always, if you like what I do here, remember to like the video and do a subscription. I've just been on a couple of days of vacation, but I'll be doing a lot more content next week. We're back for good here, and I want to test out a lot of new cards. Excited for both new Capenna, but also the meta changes and ideas we could be running. So thanks for thanks for being here, and hopefully you'll stick around for much more Merfolk action. Good hand here. I like to have both adepts up, even though Warlock Road could be potentially hard for us. But Relic is nice to get an early Relic down. And I rather want to play the Soaring City at this point to be able to avoid taking damage from the Warlock Grove. Nice draw here. Svealun is nice. We have a Relic up and running. He'll put the Polluted Delta into the yard. Play Consider. And as always with Relic, just use it right away. If we forget to use it, it's so bad value, and there's no need to give him any choices. Let's just continuously taking it down. He would probably always choose the optimal choice, so just do it as fast as possible. And we got behind me here, we got the Demon and the Angel. So it's like I have a Demon or an Angel on my shoulder. And I think it's always good to be a bit of both in this game, right? He's pressured on time actually. He's going down to 8.5 minutes here. We're doing well, we're not timing out as we normally do. Plays down a Steam Vents and a Dragon Rage Channeler. Okay, don't want to subtlety that one. Even though he's going to get value. But yeah, we saw his Fury earlier, and I think that would be a better play. Engineered for 1. And look how much he respects the relic. It's only the engineered for 1 is only to hop on the relic, which is crazy, right? Because it's also going to kill us if he's Dragon Rage Channeler. And we draw the Tideshaper. Interesting here because we might have a chance of taking him off his red mana. That could be a play. Maybe that's better than playing the Adept. We could also play the Lord and attack in for 2, but I don't think we want to play the Lord here. So let's just start by pushing an Adept, and he actually blocks. Yeah, okay. He has the Engineer on 1, so maybe the Tideshaper is not that interesting. But then again, yeah, I think that is the reason why we don't want to do that. Tideshaper could be nice, but Engineer on 1 now, especially when he blocked off the Dragon Rage Channeler, I think it's better just to get the value down. And the Mutavault could be interesting here. We don't want to play the Tideshaper even as a 2/2 here. We don't going to give him too much value, but having the relic up to crack when if he chooses to use the Engineered Explosives is nice. So I always want to have the mana up to do that. He plays Expressive Iteration. This means also next turn we have the option of playing the Svelun and having Indestructible up as with the Mutavault activation. But of course he could have the option of playing Mystical Dispute. So let's just start by attacking it. Maybe he bolts off the Adept. Okay, he does not. So the consideration is going for the Svelun play, the big play, or just holding up Subtlety. I think it's better not to play it directly into his Dispute. So we chose to hold up Subtlety here. He could really easily have a Mystical Dispute, and that would be a total game breaker for us here. And now he just passes the turn. So here is where we want to get our value on and start putting pressure on. If we can't just sit and hold up this forever. So let's get that down as a Phantom Monster, 3/3 flyer. Let's see what he does here. He cracks the Delta. Does he have something here? Yeah, he does have the Lightning Bolt. Okay, it's fine. And still have mana up for the counter magic. So different options again. Either Vial is also pretty poor, as it also just die off to the Engineered Explosives. So I think actually there's a better argument of just starting to put pressure on with the Mutavaults instead of running into counter magic. Mutavaults is also great against the people just dirtling with counter magic here. And this way we do have some options. We can crack the Warlock Grove, we can crack the Relic, we have something we can do. We'll also be representing some counter magic here. So I don't know what he thinks we will be doing here, and he just passed the turn. So we ping patiently, we're using our Mutavaults. Another Mutavault, okay. Let's get our Relic value down here, and playing the Mutavault is fine, because then we can also Subtlety and crack Relic at the same turn. So I think that's not too bad. Let's just attack with the Adept. This turn no need to attack with Mutavault, as we want to be able to play Subtlety. But don't you fool yourself on sitting and holding up Subtlety forever. In this case it was fine. It just came down as the threat that he needed to deal with, and he could, but that was just a 1/1, it's fine. He does the same, just passes. And we're considering again to do it. Subtlety, he's not looking like he's playing too much here. And you can see here he had the Mystical Dispute all along, so now he had to use it. We draw the Trickster, which is pretty nice. This allows us to have something to do when we activate the Mutavault and attack in for 4. Now he should be decked next turn, unless you have something here. He bounces Mutavault with Otavara. Okay, bro. This seems like he has held a real reactive hand. And now we're considering, should we crack the Relic now? To play around Murktide. I don't think we should here. I think it's just nice value to have it running. Now we can Trickster in end step, and again represent counter magic. He's on 5 here, getting tight this game. He's on 4 minutes. Let's see. Blood Moon. Okay, Blood Moon. We need to act now because Otawara won't be able to produce blue in a second. So let's get that one down. And that's actually a really good play. But since we had the Merfolk Trickster, he thinks that we were too hot, running too hot. So we got him. We got board Hashmaker down, and we're up 2-1 in the league now. Interesting stuff. And of course, if you wanna check out the deck list for this one, you can see it in the description in this YouTube video. And I also want to shout out my Twitter. I've seen a lot of people now also signing up for the Twitter, which is pretty nice. I like to do streams, but I don't really have a stream schedule yet. So if you want to watch me there, it's really nice to be part of the Twitter, as I will always post my when I go live. So sometimes you can catch me there. And we see this hand is pretty nice hand. I think we are definitely keeping this. Yes, the Mood of All turn 1 into double adept is really good. But what are we up against? This can only be one thing with the Spike Cleave Cavern here. Let's just pay out the Vial, but this is Charbelcher. And Charbelcher into this hand is horrible. We really want to have a Force Negation up and running. And you can even Disrupt Ritual now. Disrupt Ritual into the Charbelcher. Damn. So he'll be able to activate next turn. We need to draw exactly... No, I don't think we have a draw here. We can draw actually. So this means we are dead to rights. He needs to... Yeah, of course, maybe he didn't have a land, but I think we are dead to right here. We need to counter that as we have no bounce pre-board. Charbelcher, yeah, fun matchup. I like the deck that what they're doing. And against Charbelcher, we need all the counter magic we can get a hold on. And the Solities and the Dismembers are all dead. So let's get in the couple of counter spells we got here. Let's get in... we don't have that much actually. Flusterstorm doesn't work against them. It does work against their rituals, but maybe that's not good enough. Maybe one is fine. But the Brazen Borrows is good because notice this situation here. If they play down the Charbelcher, we can just bounce it with... we can just bounce it with Brazen Borrow, and then they will be behind here. This hand, we have no answers for the Charbelcher. So I think we need to mulligan. And here we have a couple of answers. Drawing triple Force Negation, that might be too much. Let's get one of them back. Susurrus MTG doing the Charbelcher stuff. This is a pretty cool hand. I actually really like this. We get a Vial down first, and now we can sit and be reactive. They typically don't do that much in the first turn because all the lands comes in tapped. Nice draw here, counterspell. This is really, really good that we have something to do in our next turn. Spreading Seas is interesting. I think that is actually could be considering instead of holding up counterspell here. Maybe it's better just to hold up counterspell. Next turn we can check the Vial up to 3 and Sphereloon. But what we need to do Spreading Seas if we use it is to hold them off red mana. And I think again in this case here, if you don't use Spreading Seas here now, we'll never get value out of it. And this means we can also make our land drop. And we still have Force Negation up if he plays Charbelcher next turn. And notice here that he didn't play anything. So that's really good for us. We play the Adept. And since he was stuck on mana, let's get the pressure on. And perfect draw here in Island. Now we have both counterspell up and everything. And now he uses Veil of Summer just to cycle. Every time people use Veil of Summer as a cycle effect, I'm just excited. And we can get Sphereloon down. So now we have all the good stuff here. We have the Ball Now Court. We have double Force Negation up. We can even if we play this one down, we can even hardcast the Force Negation and the counterspell. So this is a perfect situation. And of course, he needs to say no thank you. No more beating. And I can agree with that. I think this should definitely be a concession. Okay, we have the Force Negation in this hand. It's a bit slow, but I think we need to keep it because of the Force Negation. And what do we draw here? Yeah, Master. It's fine. We are a bit slow if you don't draw an island here or Minamo or something that can produce blue. You have to strike it rich, which means that he has a treasure. So he can actually resolve the Charbelcher a bit faster. Let's see what's going down here. Minamo, great draw. Now we can play down the Adept. And just show a lore, that's fine. Island is decent. And we have Force Negation, we can counter his Charbelcher if he plays it here. What's gonna happen here? The Shadow Skull is one of the few lands that can come in untapped, as it's one of the mythics. Desperate Ritual. Okay, this is not good for us, because Desperate Ritual means that he's gonna go for it here. And if we don't counter this one, he will have 2 mana to do it again for the next one. So there's a big consideration to countering this one. They also have that card where they can stack the library, which costs 3 mana. And he might be able to play that one as well, if he resolves the Desperate Ritual. So it's a scary spot, because now they're starting to go off, and an argument could be made to counter this one instead of waiting. I think Charbelcher is a tricky matchup sometimes, especially when they use something like these things. And I think we try to get them off the combo here, and he uses Veil of Summer. So he actually did resolve it. This means that now he'll be able to resolve his Charbelcher because he has 4 mana. And we need some Metamorphose. Okay, that's interesting. Now we still have 4 mana. And here, yeah, recross the path, and we can't counter that one. So now he'll be able to stack his deck, which means that this will take some time, as they're always a bit slow on doing this. And I will make a little bit of service here and then skip ahead, because it always takes a million years to stack the deck. Interesting here that now he has a perfect stack deck, and we draw a pretty nice card. Thank you for Force Negation to being back on top here. Which means that we have an out here for when she does here. Typically they have something with Miracle. And this is Reforged Souls, which means that we will discard our hand, everybody, and draw a new card. So we need to counter this when we can. He will be able to cast it for his Miracle cost, which gives him a new hand here. And it's 1 mana, not 2 mana. So this one we need to counter, because our Force Negation will stop being there. So we can hard cast counter this, and what can he do against that? Yeah, hoping, praying. We do represent a pretty fast clock, as we can trigger in a Vial here, and he can use another recross the path. But we do have a really fast clock. We can Vial in, what is that? 8, 9, 10, 11. We can actually kill him next turn, because he took damage from playing down the Seagate Reborn. That's the interesting thing here, because when they play the Seagate Reborn untapped, he takes 3 damage. He went from 14 to 11. Svealoon, we don't really need that one, but because we have lethal on the board here. Notice here, because we can Vial in the Master, activate Muta Vault, and we have exactly 11 points of damage. So we took it, because he had to play down the land untapped. So really nice. We got the matchup down, and I think in Charbelcher matchups it's pretty interesting, because one counter might not do it all, especially when they stack the deck. But if we can just stall them a bit and present a clock like this, because if he had untapped this in this game here, I think he would have won the game. But we are 3-1, only losing to Crazy Sea Monsters and Clone Effects, and I think for my money that's fair. So final game, we are against Prophet. What is this hand here? This hand, we are, what are we on here? He can play first. He's on the play. I think we need to mulligan this. Oh, he's on the play. We need to mulligan anyways. And here, this is a much better hand. We can put down the Ether Vial, put back the Ether Vial. And what are we up against here, Prophet? Steam Vents into what? A Ragavan. A Ragavan. So here comes the big question again, and I put this to you guys in chat. What do you do here? We have a Dismember, we have the option of doing that, but the Ether Vial is a great play. And I actually think the correct play is sometimes to Ether Vial to take the damage, because Ether Vial will be slower then, but I think giving him that much value, potentially hitting into a Sphere Lune he can play, I think we need to Dismember it. But what would you guys do in this situation? Would you play the Ether Vial or would you play the Dismember right away? Now you can Thoughtseize, so I'm glad that I did my line here, but let me know in chat, what do you guys think? Is it correct to get that little monkey man, get him out of the way, Ragavan out here? Or is it better to get the Vial down and start creating value? Wonder what he takes with Thoughtseize here. Spreading Seas. Playing down another Ragavan. Actually, really interesting he took Spreading Seas. What does that mean? Is he screwed on black mana maybe? Because we do have the Tide Shaper, but if you take the black mana, he'll probably just be able to lightning bolt it, right? They always have a bolt, so I think you can also consider double spelling. Lord would be pretty bad, because then he can just kill it with all the removal spells they have, right? Both Drown the Lock, Fatal Push, and Lightning Bolt will kill off the Master. So I think it's better to either go for the Tide Shaper, taking off one of his lands, or double spelling the Vial and the Tide Shaper, because the Tide Shaper would be a 2/2. That wouldn't really matter that much, but it can at least block the Ragavan. So that's many different options here. We go for the double spelling. Let's see if that pays out. Ragavan. Now we can block you. Unless you have something. See what you got. Oh no, what is this? He makes it untapped. Is it his Kolaghan command? Oh my lord, this is the one-off Kolaghan's command. I don't know, normally they play 1 or 2. But this is of course a huge blowout. A 2-for-1 and a treasure token, which is like a 3-for-1. With all the force negation, which is really bad in this matchup. So we have to just play up the Lord of Atlantis. And this is just a huge setback. The Kolaghan's command was a great play here, because it nullified entirely the Ether Vial and took out our one blocker, so Ragavan could get in there. Now he starts to use Street Wraith here. Interesting that that card is coming back. I think it's a pretty nifty card. Nice in this deck, as they can drain their own life to be able to play Death Shadow. That is huge. And he attacks in, and we need to just block here. Not in a great spot here. I can even resolve Death Shadow and another Death Shadow, and this is not good. Okay, Adept, let's just play down the Adept. The problem is that they are 3/3, so we have no good blockers. And he can Thoughtseize. Yeah, we allow it, but that means that he takes 2 points of damage. So we could have considered forcing it, so we don't getting hit in by 5/5s, but he had another one, so we could have forced it, but he would still have had good attacks. And he would just need to jump. And he's on 0 cards, but it's really big cards. So Prophet wins the first game. Really nice play by him. I think also double Death Shadow at that point was really nice. We took out the Vials exactly because of a Kolaghan's command. Post board they'll have, I think, 3. So don't like it here. Solstice is nice. Harbingers is good. Philosopher's Storms could be decent, as you'll be able to counter some small spells. But maybe Brazen Bar is better for the tempo swing. It's not, Philosopher's Storm is not really meant for this specific matchup. This hand, I think we can keep it. It's not the best on the play. We can play down the Mimic as a land, and then we can play an Adept if we are lucky enough to draw a... Oh, we have the Trickster. Okay, so that makes it a bit rarer here. So we can play down the shore into an Adept. That's fine. And just have the Dragonless Channel. Okay, fine enough. This is actually interesting because playing down the Adept means that we have to show the Trickster. So there's a consideration also to do something different, because we don't want to show the Trickster, I think. Instead we treat Society, maybe we can take him off red and black mana by removing the Blood Crypt. Spreading Seas is not getting better in this matchup as long as we, if we wait longer. Maybe it should be sided out actually, but he does Thoughtseize here, which is pretty nice for him. What does he take? Is it time to take a card? Profit? I'll profitize. You'll take Adept. What will you take? He took Adept. Okay. You're going for one. It's a little bit off Delirium. He has only 3 cards in hand. And actually, interesting draw here. Yeah, let's get that one down. I know that there's also a risk. Oof, for the Mystical Dispute from the Spreading Seas. Blood Grip. But okay, of course, he would have had a blue source anyways. But I think we need to make a play here because we were getting far behind on value. And there's not really that much other options. That's great. Playing down a Trickster could be decent. And he doesn't... But he does know about the Trickster, so... Yeah. Rough case with Mystical Dispute. If we didn't play down the Sphere Loon and just held up mana, he would not have Delirium, so he wouldn't be able to... He wouldn't be forced to attack with Dragon's Channeler, we couldn't ambush him, and we would need to play Trickster down. So I think it was the correct play just to go for it. He is stuck on lands here. An interesting draw on Tide Chipper. Could we go back to our merry old ways here? And of course this is a big risk, because if we do it like this, we are not getting down the Trickster to block, and we take 3 damage. But I think it's correct to do, because he might not have another land. He was stuck on lands, but he top decks a Water Grave. So that's pretty nasty, because now he's back to black mana, but still no red mana. And he can hit us down now. So no red mana, which means that maybe his removal spells are not there. But he does have the option of playing Death Shadow here. He does not though. That's pretty good. So now we have the Trickster and potentially the Lord next turn. And Brazen Borrow. Interesting draw. Okay, let's just attack in. Let's just attack in here. Maybe we want to hold up Subtlety. Let's just see what happens. Okay, no damage back on him. Yeah, what is he doing here? He used Drown the Luck, so good thing we didn't play anything. He can take out the Tide Chipper, which is annoying, because now he'll get his red man out and running. Considering here, is there anything we can do? Nah. Not much to do here. So, now we need to go for it. We need to Trickster down the Channeler. Hopefully he has nothing. Lucky for us, he did have the Drown the Luck, so he could easily have a red burn spell. Yeah. And he does. He does have a red burn spell. Okay. And he plays the Death Shadow. Okay. Very nice. So place that one down. We can consider salting it here, but I think it's better maybe just to bounce it with Brazen Borrow. Draw land. This is okay. Now we can play. We can play both Brazen Borrow and Lord of the Lands, but I think it's better just to play down Subtlety and block here, or maybe just playing Subtlety on his Death Shadow, hard casting it. Then we still take 3 going down to 8, but I think it's worth it. Here it is. Get out of here. And he just plays Dress Down. Interesting. So Dress Down is not the worst you could play, because we still get a 3/3 flyer in play. But we won't be able to handle the Death Shadow though. This is getting pretty tight here. He has Delirium up and running. Dismember is interesting. Now we have some options here. And we do have a Brazen Borrow in hand. The Brazen Borrow can also block the Dragon's Channeler. So now there's suddenly a lot of plays we can do. This is getting interesting here. The problem with Dismember is that if we can't kill the Death Shadow right now with Dismember, because he can crack Scalding Tarn and he can get Steam Vents or something. Now that would mean that the Death Shadow would not even be it would be a 5/5 and then a 7/7, so it won't die for Dismember. So that line is not good doing it here. We could play the Lord. But the Death Shadow is something we need to maybe chump block. And if we attack, we can also attack here. But attacking will mean that the Death Shadow will be a 7/7, and he'll go down to 6, which is not really relevant. The Solitude can also block the Dragon Challenger, but the Brazen Borrower can also block the Dragon Challenger. So there's also an argument of attacking, and then playing the Lord to chump. That could also be a play. But the Dismember is also something we need to use pretty fast. So there's actually many different lines we can go here. Really, really tight situation. What could be the right play? You can also Brazen Borrower and Lord. And then you attack with Subtlety. But then you need to chump, so you need to have nothing and removal. And he have 2 cards in hand. He might easily have a removal spell for the Lord, and then he would kill us on the swing back from Death Shadow. So maybe it's better to pass, see what happens. We don't attack, and then we say Salty can block Dragon Challenger. That's pretty nice. Okay. Choose to play that on the board. Let's get that one down. And then I don't think we can attack, because the Death Shadow would get out of range. So we just pass here, and he cracks it, and now we have the option, while the Scalding Tarn is on the stack, to kill off the Death Shadow. So this is nice, he did it here. He could have done it in his own turn instead. So we get the option, and we go for it here, and now he doesn't take the 2 damage from the Steam Bench, which is nice for us. This means that the Dragon Channel, even though he had a Subtlety, he can, let's say he can kill Subtlety, which he can. We are not dead here. The Dragon Channel just comes in for 3, we goes down to 1. And we need to, of course, find a solution, and this is a tight game. But I think this worked out pretty decently, as we both managed to use our Dismember. We got a remove spell out of his hand, and we get both the Grixis Death Shadow out there. We draw a Trickster and a Motor Vault. What a great set of draws, because that means that now we can play both Brazen Borrower and Trickster. So we actually look pretty good here. We have 2 options to Dragon's Channel. He has only 2 cards in hand. Of course, he draws the 3rd one now, so we can both use the Trickster play, which is of course the optimal one. So let's do it before blocks, because we also want to be able to do it with Brazen Borrower, because he knows about the Brazen Borrower, of course. But he drowns in the lock. Okay, not good for us, but we can at least Brazen Borrower instead. What's this? Another drown in the lock, double drown in the lock to take out both our answers. And actually, it's pretty interesting, because if one of these resolved, we would have been able to take off his last creature, and the Motor Vault and Lord would be able to hit him down to 1 next turn. But now, of course, he is lethal, as we have nothing to do, because he had exactly double drown in the lock, and he can take us out. So, wow, great play by him. And I think we had a pretty tight game. And here you can see the deck lists, if you just want to check it out. I think we were pretty satisfied with many of the cards in this iteration. I'm still considering Test of Talents, Flusterstorm, and doing some adjustments to the deck. But I still like the main board. But I think Harbinger is looking better in general in this meta right now. And I'm still unsure about what we are doing against the Living Index. But this was a fun run. And I'm glad you stuck around till the end. If you want to see, one of the things I did recently is that I did my episode 2 of matchups, which was against the, let's see if we get it up here. We did the Versus series, where I played against Jeppe, and he was playing not Living End, not Living Death, but Living End, the updated version. And I can safely say that was a really interesting set of matches, and one of the matchups that I think we need to prep a lot on and be able to perform in. So that was really interesting, and we got a lot of knowledge base. So that you can see that in that video I have right here somewhere. Other than that, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'm doing a lot more Merfolk, modern Merfolk stuff, especially within Mono Blue. And thanks for watching. This was fun. And until next time, this is Draco signing out. Have a great evening, guys.